What is up, guys? It is Steady Chaos, and I want to talk about the 42-inch LG C2 and its impending release here in North America sometime in May. And I need to get something off my chest in regards to LG and just how utterly disappointed I am with them right now. Let's talk about it. The 42-inch LG C2 that is coming out in May, it's been promised by LG to have an EVO panel. Now, the EVO panel is known as a WBE panel. It's a newer type of panel technology that was found in the LG G1 from 2021. Now, if you look at the official LG C2 listing on LG.com, we see that the 42-inch is supposed to have the EVO panel. And this is evidenced by the fact that when you go to LG.com and you scroll down on this 42-inch variant, you see that they talk about the LG G1 OLED EVO tech and what it is exactly, okay? They say it's our best OLED TV ever. Your viewing experience has evolved with brighter, punchier picture quality and improved clarity thanks to the LG G1's next-gen OLED panel. An extra layer and stronger emissive material optimizes the structure to increase efficiency by refining the light wavelengths. So that, in a nutshell, is what an EVO panel was with the G1 and what it will be with the C2. It's this extra layer and stronger emissive material in this EVO or WBE panel that should be present in the C2 range, including the 42-inch variant. So what exactly is this extra layer and stronger emissive material? Well, we go really quickly to How to Geek, and they talk about what is an OLED EVO panel. So according to UBI Research President Chung-Hoon Woo, LG Display achieved higher brightness by making two key changes to their EVO panel, okay? First, it has switched from a blue OLED material based on hydrogen to a blue OLED material based on deuterium. The higher atomic mass of deuterium makes the blue OLED material less prone to degradation and increases overall lifespan. So this new EVO or WBE panel is less susceptible to burn-in or pixel degradation over time. The second change is the inclusion of an additional green-emitting layer. LG Display's older OLED panels pack two blue EMLs, one red EML, and one yellow-green EML. The extra green EML not only increases the brightness of the panel, but also improves the color gamut, okay? So that, in a nutshell, is what comprised the LG G1's newer EVO panel or WBE panel. And that technology, as I've said, was supposed to transfer over to the 42-inch LG C2. After all, it is being marketed as an EVO. I mean, look at the box when you buy the panel. 42 C2 LG OLED EVO. EVO, okay? It's no mystery how LG is marketing this panel. It's no mystery what EVO is. It's well documented from the days of the G1. And I also want to have you take a listen really quick to this clip from AVforums when they interviewed Jason Thomas, product manager for home entertainment at LG UK, about the 42-inch LG C2. Now we go to the 840 mark and listen.
I want to come back to the 42 and 48. It's great to see those screen sizes. I think we've been waiting on them for some time. They have the OLED EVO panel, is that correct? So they will have the same brightness?
They have the OLED EVO technology, yes, of the models above.
They have the OLED EVO technology of the models above, okay? And this is in specific reference to the 42-inch and 48-inch LG C2.
Not be quite as bright per se as a 55 or a 65. That's not because we've tuned it in such a way. It's just down to physics, basically. That when you're looking at a panel which is so much smaller, pixel pitch is so much finer that to get light out of the pixels is at the same brightness level as the models above is just sometimes physically impossible.
Okay, so he's saying that the 42-inch LG C2 EVO panel exists. It will have, he's claiming, the WBE panel, the newer technology of the models above, and it won't be quite as bright, but that's not because it's lacking any technology or they've tuned it in such a way to be less bright. It's simply because the 42-inch and 48-inch models TV sizes are smaller, therefore you can't emit as much light as a larger TV, say a 55 or 65 inch C2 would be able to. But otherwise, he's saying it has the EVO panel. There is no technological difference, okay? So what have we come to find out? Okay, despite the fact that the 42-inch C2 is not available for mass purchase yet in North America, some of these demo models have been floating around, and one copy, or one 42-inch C2 has gone to Vincent Teo from HDTVTEST. And he ran some tests on his 42-inch EVO using a spectral radiometer. And what did he find? He found that the wavelengths of his 42-inch C2 were not clearly defined and or separated. Now, one of the hallmark characteristics of an EVO panel, if you scroll back down here, you remember what we read, refined light wavelengths or separated light wavelengths for a WBE panel. Well, this is what Vincent found right here. His 48-inch C2 has a WBE or EVO panel, and you see the blue, the green, and the red are pretty clearly defined from one another, which is a hallmark of the newer EVO panel. Well, with Vincent's 42-inch C2, he found that the blue was clearly distinct, but the green, yellow, and red colors were more merged, which is a hallmark characteristic of an old school, non-EVO WBC panel. Despite all of the advertising, despite all the harping on this WBE EVO panel being deuterium based and having the extra green layer and being more resistant to burn-in, and in some instances being 20 or 30% brighter than standard WBC panels, forget all of that. And despite the fact that LG slaps EVO on the 42-inch C2 boxes, as you can see here, EVO, it doesn't have the EVO panel. Does not have an WBE panel. It does not have a deuterium-based panel. It does not have the extra green layer. It does not have the more clearly defined wavelengths. It does not have the increased resistance to burn-in. Really, LG? Really? I mean, come on, seriously? If we go to FPS Review, they talk about this. Some LG C2 42-inch OLED TVs are shipping with older, non-EVO panels. This article is from April 1st, 2022, and it's not an April Fool's joke, I promise you. If you come down here, it says LG has since confirmed with Korea Benchmark that there's a panel lottery going on with its 42-inch C2 TVs, with WBC and WBE panels being mixed during manufacturing. All these TVs should ship with the newer EVO panels after Q2, however. So after quarter two. So if you really want to make sure that you're going to get yourself a next generation WBE panel or EVO panel with your 42-inch C2 and even maybe your 48-inch C2, you're probably going to want to wait until the July, August, maybe even September timeframe to buy your 42-inch C2. Otherwise, you risk it being a WBC panel. And what's even more infuriating and maybe even more inexplicable is the fact that I have the 48-inch C1, and even that has a WBE panel. I won the panel lottery from 2021. I got an EVO-based panel. Sure, it doesn't have the software to take advantage of the increased brightness, but it is a deuterium-based panel, meaning I have that added burn-in protection. So why would I risk going from a WBE C1 to a C2 that could just be an old school WBC panel, something similar to an LG C10 from 2020? Why would I do that? So when being propositioned by Vincent and other outlets about what exactly is going on with this 42-inch C2 and why they're advertising it as EVO when in fact it does not have an EVO panel, this is what they had to say. In response, LG Electronics explained that it is true that WBC and WBE are mixed in the 42-inch OLED TV EVO, and that it is an unavoidable situation depending on LG Display's panel supply situation. WBE panels will be applied sequentially after the second quarter of 2022. So in effect, what LG Electronics is doing is it's passing the buck to its supplier, LG Display, and they're claiming that there's nothing we can do. LG Display has basically said this is all we have for available inventory for your 42-inch C2 line. And to some degree, your 48-inch C2. if you want to make your 42-inch and 48-inch C2s, then all we have for right now is some WBE panels, but a lot of WBC panels mixed in. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. LG Electronics is saying, well, I mean, we need to have a complete line ranging from the highly anticipated 42-inch all the way up to the 83-inch. So we're going to take them and we're not going to say anything. We're not going to tell anyone. We're going to market it as EVO. We're going to market the whole C2 line as EVO, and hopefully nobody will notice. Well, I do think Vincent kind of went easy on them and let them off the hook a little bit, but if it wasn't for Vincent's really expensive spectroradiometer, which measures this colored wavelength right here of the C2, we would have never known that it was a WBC panel. It's just absolutely crazy to think that someone like myself would be looking to buy a 42-inch LG C2, and I know thousands of people are, because it's a very coveted TV right now. It's going to be great for gaming. It's going to be great as a monitor because of its small form factor. People have been waiting for small OLED, so they're over the moon excited about this product. And they're ready to fork over their hard-earned money to get the latest and greatest technology in their 42-inch C2 in the form of an EVO panel. After all, it's being marketed as an EVO panel. LG is throwing out these spurious claims to Vincent saying that, well, you got to understand that the AV community kind of ran with this idea of EVO, and so LG sort of just kind of adopted it because the AV community went with this EVO moniker. Really, when you think about it, EVO doesn't simply mean WBE panel. It means a certain set of optimizations that are made based on the Alpha 9 Gen 5 processor and the C2. Oh, what a bunch of effing hooey. That's a bunch of effing legal jargon garbage. And if you go back to this website, the FPS Review, you see here, is a class action lawsuit on the way? Possibly, since the WBE panels are definitely better for all sorts of reasons that include longer lifespan. I feel like I could just go on and on bitching and moaning, and I know you guys don't want to hear that, so I'm going to spare you. It could be just because I'm overtired, but it could just be that I'm so disappointed because I was going to buy the 42-inch C2 for my channel and for myself and have all kinds of, benchmarks and have all kinds of fun with it and do picture settings videos. And now I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I really do want the 42-inch form factor and the pixel density, but I don't want to go from a WBE C1, because I won the panel lottery with my C1. I got an EVO panel. I don't want to go from an EVO panel to paying $1,400 for a C2 and getting a WBC panel. It makes no sense. So that's going to do it for me, guys. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. If you have any thoughts on this matter, which I'm sure you do, please leave them down below as well. I am really curious to hear what you have to say. And with that, we're going to close it here. So until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Peace. Take care.